Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Alen Babic's opponent has been confirmed for August the 22nd. It will be the American Shawndell Winters. So we'll cover the addition of this fight to Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin's pay-per-view, which is this weekend. But also, we'll just touch on a couple of other things. Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin will also be fighting for the Diamond Belt. Mauricio Suleiman with a message on that. It's ready. But also Alexander Povetkin arriving at fight camp. So we'll briefly cover those things off at the end of this video. But this card, Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin, the fifth fight, Alen Babic, Shawndell Winters, is confirmed. So we have a full slate of fights. It's unclear if there is going to be another fight because there was talk about Dave Allen, there was talk about Fabio Wardley, but perhaps this is going to be it now with the confirmation of Babic and Winters, which for me is a good fight for Alen Babic. He's currently 3-0. Shawndell Winters is effectively a high-level sort of gatekeeper, and he's had a couple of upsets against prospects in the past year. So in terms of a good fight for Babic, this is it. But in terms of helping the pay-per-view, not really, because it's a fight that has no divisional relevance, and it probably doesn't move the dial in terms of getting more people interested in this pay-per-view, because let's face it, no one really knows who Alen Babic is. His name has been connected to Dillian Whyte's because of their managerial arrangement, but he's been fighting out of sight, out of mind against low-level opponents, because after all, he's a prospect with just a few fights on his ledger. And Shawndell Winters, he's probably best known at this point for losing to Joseph Parker at the start of this year, and before that he had upset a couple of prospects, Alexander Teslenko and Sergey Waweko. Those were the wins that actually got him a fight with Joseph Parker, and that was seen as, for Parker, as a tune-up. Joseph Parker, a former champion, 20-odd fights, it was what it was, but for Babic, who really is at the other end of his career, this could be a stern test, and I quite like this fight. But in terms of it moving the dial for the pay-per-view and adding extra interest for people outside of being a heavyweight fan, or outside of just sort of seeing this as a decent matchup, they're probably not going to be too interested, because either A, they haven't heard of Alen Babic, B, they haven't heard of Shawndell Winters, C, they don't care about this fight, and D, they were already on the fence about buying this card. And you can kind of see from the card itself, and we'll just cover that. So you have the main event, which is Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin. See the graphic on screen. This is from the Matchroom website. And below it, you have the other four fights, which is Katie Taylor versus Delphine Persoon, Luther Clay versus Chris Congo, Jack Cullen versus Zach Chile. And this was a fight that was added just a week or so ago. So this has been plugged into this card to help fill it out. And then you have Alen Babic, who we knew was going to be on the card, but his opponent was TBC. Now it is Shawndell Winters. So really it is sort of selling it on the two main fights, which is the main event, Whyte and Povetkin, and Katie Taylor versus Delphine Persoon. That's a much anticipated rematch given the first fight a year or so ago. So it's going to be interesting to sort of see the interest in this card, because for some this will be right on the borderline of, is this pay-per-view worthy? For others, they'll be happy to pay for it, especially with the dearth of quality sort of fights and cards that are around at the moment. This is a card that I'll be buying regardless, because obviously it's a heavyweight channel and I'll be wanting to watch this, and I'm interested in the main event, but also I'm interested to see Alen Babic versus Shawndell Winters. Winters is a guy, even though he's 39 years old, he's going to come to fight, and he's going to prove to be a test for Alen Babic. And let's face it, if Alen Babic has anything about him, any ambition, and remembering this guy is not exactly young, he's 29 years old, so with that in mind, he does need to get a move on. So having a fight with Winters can help potentially be a bit of a shortcut to bigger and better fights. So potentially under Dillian Whyte, who's managing Alen Babic, we could see him in similar level or better fights for the next sort of year or two, until he's to a point where he's really ready to take a step up to a much bigger and better fight. But this one here, I like it. I do like this fight for Alen Babic, and if he manages to breeze past Shawndell Winters, it's a bit of a statement. It's not a huge statement, but in the context of a 3-0 guy, if he can get Winters out of there or comfortably beat him on the cards, then that's actually going to be very good for his career. And I think people will be able to sort of look at this guy in a slightly different light, as opposed to someone who's just knocking over cans, if you know what I mean. And Babic, he has reacted to the news of the fight on his own social media, saying, "The stage is set for the world to know my name. I will deliver." Then the skull emoji and a bunch of hashtags. So there is an opportunity for him to broaden his profile from being on this card. But then again, he's the first fight on the card. And actually, he's been on a big card before. He was on the Whyte card about a year ago. And I think most people have forgotten that. So there are some pros and cons with being on a big card. The con being, if you're at the start of the card, some people won't be watching, or they just don't care. So we'll see what sort of bump he can get from this. But with Winters, you know what you're going to get. And if Alen Babic isn't good enough, he will be found out. Winters was able to sort of beat prospects Alexander and Sergey Waweko. The gate was closed on that night. So in terms of the fight, I like it. Divisional relevance, no. Does this move the needle for this pay-per-view? Not really, but it's an interesting fight nonetheless for me. I'm sure some people are going to be critical of this fight, but we already knew Alen Babic was going to be on the card. So in terms of what we could have expected with an opponent for him, this is better than what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be effectively a knockover job, and Winters is not that. So moving on though, so Mauricio Suleiman had announced a couple of days ago that the diamond belt would be on the line for the Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin fight. So now he's gone on social media saying that the diamond belt is ready, and here is him talking about it.
I am very happy, very proud to show the WBC diamond belt, which has been produced in record time. I just received it from the manufacturer. Smells the beautiful leather. And as you can see, Alexander Povetkin with the Russian flag, Dillian Whyte with the UK flag, the diamonds all around the belt, inside the belt. This is a trophy for the winner of August 22nd in the UK. I'm going to bring it to the airport, put it in the parcel, and I am hopeful that it will get there to this great fight. I wish you the best of luck. I hope that you take the pride of fighting for the diamond, for the great trophy, for the legacy of being a diamond champion. God bless. Thank you.
And Alexander Povetkin, he has arrived at fight camp. Have a look at this. This is some of the promotional footage that has been put out of him being at fight camp. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.